All right, it is 8:15. It's time to travel abroad with a purpose and open your mind to the idea of volunteering if you are the adventurous type. Joining me is this month's global volunteer, Carolyn Cade, who is a retired educator who worked in the Bloomington School District, and she's here to talk about her most recent trip to Poland, because you've been all over the world, and we'll talk about that at the end. But so just back in July, is that right?
Right, that's right. The last 2 weeks of July.
So you just returned from Poland. What kind of volunteering is needed in Poland?
Well, the trip that I was on was to teach conversational English at a language camp. And it was in the Tatra Mountains south of Krakow with 50 Polish students who were mostly 15 and 16-year-olds.
Look at that. That is beautiful. Just stunning. So you're way up there in the mountains. It looks beautiful. And we've got a picture of actually the campsite. Yeah, there we go. Kind of
yes,
that's where you were staying?
Yes, that's where we were staying with 50 students and about 15 Polish staff, and then there were 6 American volunteers on this team.
How far is this from Krakow?
An hour and a half.
Okay, and you got a chance, you know, in the afternoons after you did some teaching to go and enjoy the city a little bit?
Well, we were actually outside of Zakopane, is where the camp is. We went into Krakow on the weekend. But yes, we went into Zakopane, but also in the afternoon we did wonderful hikes in the mountains with the kids, and it was an absolutely beautiful experience.
Well, let's talk about the kids that were interested in learning English. And we were talking yesterday, and you said that a lot of them have learned English through American music. And how did you realize that?
Well, I realized it because one day I went on a hike, and one of my students said, "Would you like to share my MP3 player?" So she gave me one side of it to listen to, and it was an old Beatles record, and all the kids were singing along with the music. And they talked about how they used that to help their pronunciation.
And this is another interesting way that you were able to teach them conversational English. I like this. You actually brought a newspaper, a New York Times article to them, and you spoke in English, obviously.
Yes.
And it was an article about Ireland.
No, about Poland.
I mean, excuse me, about Poland.
Yes,
Poland,
yes. I had taken some articles off of the internet and copied them and used them in class with the students. So we would read the article to work on pronunciation and vocabulary building, and then we would discuss the issue, and all of them related to things going on in Poland, and they absolutely loved it. And they were very interested in what American newspapers were saying about their country.
That's a unique way, you know, to teach them, an interesting lesson.
Yes, it worked
gives
very
them a little
well.
Perspective, a little global perspective. Now, you are retired.
That's right.
Is this something you've been doing since you've been retired, and are you finding a lot more people are interested in, you know, the retirement years to do this type of traveling? Absolutely.
Although global volunteers really range in age from 16 and younger sometimes with parents, all the way up into their 80s. But there are many retired people. I've been traveling with Global Volunteers since 1998. This was my 6th trip.
You've been to China and to Ireland.
The Cook Islands, and a team in West Virginia where we were rehabbing coal miner houses. So there's a variety of things that one can do with Global Volunteers.
Well, Carolyn Cade, it was a pleasure to have you on and
Thank you.
Share your story
so
about your most recent trip to Poland, and let us know where you are headed next.
Thank you.
Give us a detailed report when you come back. And by the way, if you are interested in becoming a global volunteer, you can log on to globalvolunteers.org.